So, health insurance is a tax. Try getting medical attention without it. Medicare for all. I agree in some ways, although, I think medical insurance is a tax. Yeah, but it's almost like you're saying that like taxes are bad. Taxes are how a democratic society shows its priorities, right? Because I would argue that that would be a good like springboard in that if medical care is a right, whose responsibility is it? If it's a right and it has to be provided by a person, whose responsibility is it? Is it someone else's responsibility to go to medical school and become a doctor to work for free because you have a right to see a doctor? These are real questions because we got to figure out how we're going to incentivize and pay people to go into the difficult areas and how we're going to make it worth their while and recognize the work that they put in and the study and how important it is and get more people, right? Unless we got robot doctors, which I'm totally here for, right? Yeah, taxes pay for stuff. That's right. That's a priority for it. That's why we don't have socialism, even when you count Social Security in this country. It's not socialism to have fire departments. It's not socialism to have cops or courts or any of that shit. It's democratic taxation. How education is a right. It by no means is. It's not. I think it's a good society's responsibility, but it's not a right. How can it be? It's not a natural right. We have a right to it because we have paid for it. But that's because it's a service that we have asked for, which means it's a service that can be taken away. AI doctors will be quicker. This is true. A lot of people think it is. I agree, but that's because they don't think past the words. Civics are services our community. Right? It's a civic duty. Yeah, I think that's closer to a civic duty. Right. I think morally we as a society have a responsibility to make healthcare available. But that doesn't make it a right. That makes it a responsibility. Yeah, you can't force people to go to school, and therefore you can't guarantee education. You can't even make people absorb the education. Why do the rural areas not have Wi-Fi? Well, because Wi-Fi doesn't reach out to those places. You have to run cabling out there, and then you have to have distribution for the internet. And Wi-Fi is usually interior to buildings, not cellular service, which is what most people think of when they think of like rural Wi-Fi. They're really talking about cellular service. Both are expensive in their own way. How is the BBB going to pass? No. It's going to be shifted around a bunch. There'll be a lot of infighting. They might send a version back to the House, but the House will kill it unless it looks a lot like the first version. And if it looks like the first version, if they cut out a bunch of shit, they'll have to send it back up to the Senate. And there will be this ping pong, and Democrats will spend most of the summer like basically standing in the middle of the ping pong table, just wagging their paddle just to annoy the Republicans until such time as we have a CR. Which is not profitable, because this is, pardon me on the delay when we're talking about some of these issues. So if you want an answer to something, I'm sorry that most people try to stay away from pronouns and these things and be specific, but as far as medicine's not profitable or education's not profitable, there is absolutely a profit margin to these things. It can, right? It's in the Constitution, which thing is the providing. I would argue that providing for the common welfare is one of the primary things that you find in the Constitution. And I think in that would be the responsibility of the government through the gathering of taxes to create public education, right? But that doesn't make it a right. That makes it a responsibility of the government to provide something as a tax form for the betterment of the country, not because the Lord wills it. If you have to enforce education, it's not a right. Right. Yeah. If you have to make people go, right. Yeah, cable link is what they need out there. Largely, fiber optic. The medical pill could have been inspired from the 1987 movie Inner Space with Dennis Quaid, Martin Short, and Meg Ryan, which is amazing, and she looks amazing in that, and it's a hilarious movie. I love Inner Space. I can't tell you. I've seen it. Hey, Big Dick. Cowboy, your hair looks different. I had it done. You see Outlaw Josie Vales? What a flick. Even Bite said healthcare is a right, not a privilege. I know that. I think this has been a languaging mistake on our side. Healthcare is a responsibility. It is the responsibility of the society to provide it for those who cannot have it themselves, and a responsibility of the people to maintain, who have the resources and the wherewithal to maintain the best health they possibly can themselves, so that they don't gum up the works and take a limited resource like doctors, nurses, and materials away from people who need it. I'm possessed. Right, there you go. Do I have a favorite comedy duo? That's a tough one. Favorite comedy duo. Back in the day, Patton Oswalt and Blaine Capatch were very funny together. And then, let's see. Favorite comedy duo. Do Waylon Flowers and Madam count? I'm kidding. The Smothers Brothers? Yeah. I mean, not just because they were funny, but because they were morally terrific. My favorite food? Oof, that's tough. It shifts all the time. There's a few things. I love, a plain piece of meat, just salted, and a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, just grilled in butter, but either chicken or beef, and plain rice, white rice together. It's very simple, but I enjoy it. Like it's one of those, like it's like a lot of good mouthfeel and flavor. Right? Bob and Dave. Sometimes. Rowan and Martin were amazing. Yep. Wilder and Pryor. Yeah, they're more of a comedy acting duo, but sure. Do you believe in ghosts? I believe that there can be, in the world of physics, residual bioelectric energy left over by human consciousness that can operate almost on a loop with some sort of limited flexibility in it because of the density of it. And in certain environments, it could get stuck in, so that would qualify as a ghost, but I do not believe in them as remnants of someone stuck behind on our Earth plane. I think it's more like a piece of double exposure in film or something like that. Yes, Frangela definitely qualifies. Absolutely. Ren Stimpy. Still doing OMAD? Yes, for the most part. I mean, I do shift it around when my kid is with me for the summer and stuff because I'm just trying to get him to eat. But yeah. Shields and Yarnell. Does that count as? Yeah, okay. House investigation of Stephen Miller could. And no. How did you and your family have a great time this weekend? We did. We did indeed. We went to Universal and we rode. It's so funny. My mom is in her 80s, so we went on a couple of the rides. We went on went to Universal and we went to the on the Harry Potter ride, which is you tilt around and you're in a chair, but it's mainly screens and stuff. So it's really fun and it's like an immersion, like Star Tours or something like that. But she was like, I don't like those. That upset my stomach and it felt weird or whatever. But she wanted to go on the Jurassic Park ride, which is a water slide, and that's all physical. And there's a big drop at the end of it, and it was like a big sign that was like, you will get wet. And I was like, you naughty. But you do. No matter where you are on that ride, you are going to get soaked. And that's the point. Like, you know how if you do like Pirates of the Caribbean or some log rides or whatever, maybe if you're in the front, depending on who's in the thing, whether there's somebody heavy in the back of it or heavy in the front, it will splash different areas of it. But some people will manage to miss it and other people will get completely soaked because of the balance in it. Okay, they have designed this ride so that everybody just gets hit. They've made it that way. Your mom's beautiful. I agree. So we were all just soaked to the bone. It was hilarious. You said at Flappers you want more kids. Were you serious in December? Yeah, she knows it. She just knows it's out of the question. with her. So, well, God knows. If we all live to be 300, we'll see what happens. It helps if you're expecting it. Yes, expect it. If you ever go, and it's worthwhile, and I loved it. It was a really nice ride. It's terrific. And man, you inspired me to start OMAD. We got to watch your posture. Still eating healthier. That's fantastic. Hold on, it skipped past it. Feeling great. Thank you. Yeah, what's funny is one of the things, and this is maybe the irony of having a kid, is you feel funny going sit up straight. But it reminded me as well. It's like when you're in an exercise class and everybody's like, remember to breathe. And you're like, that sounds stupid. Who forgets to breathe? And you're like, everybody. Everybody holds their breath when they're doing something, because, especially if it's impact, because we have millennia of evolution and biological experience, that if you're running, boxing, hitting, something like that, it's not a game. You're going to die. So if anything's about to hit you, you expel the breath in you and you wait for impact, because naturally that's the way to survive a kind of impact. Well, if you're doing impact aerobics or doing that kind of stuff, you're not gonna breathe properly unless you tell yourself to. The same thing, by the way, is true when you're practicing a musical instrument. If you're practicing guitar or those kind of things, I noticed for a long time that I will often forget to breathe. I will be sitting and I'm like, I realized I haven't taken a deep breath. I'm certainly breathing, but I'm not taking deep breaths while I'm doing it. And what inspired me and reminded me to do that was listening to Steve Vai's "For the Love of God," which is one of my favorite pieces of music, period. But it's also one of my favorite, if not my singular favorite, like guitar instrumental piece. And at the very beginning of that, you hear him take a deep breath before he does the solo in it, because he did it in one take. Yeah, the story is that he recorded the tracks, the background tracks, and then he meditated, he fasted for 3 days, and then when he was done, he did the solo in one take. And you just hear him go, and then he starts playing. And so that triggered in me that I've got to breathe deeper. It's an amazing song. I love it. Some people have trouble breathing. Yes, which means they should focus on more of it, and they should work on it, and they should improve their breathing because of that very same reason. My mom has, I think, some long COVID stuff left over that makes it hard for her as well. And you've got to take extra precautions. It's not, that's not a reason, well, I don't know, I have trouble breathing, so I'm going to do it less. It doesn't work that way. Yep. Are you going to watch the Black Sabbath farewell concert? It's an insane lineup. Yes. I don't know that I'll be able to see it live. Are there any instruments you want to learn? Yes, I could play piano by ear, but I want to learn genuinely to play piano well. I know you got to be an Ozzy fan. Of course I am. By the way, favorite Ozzy album? No Rest for the Wicked. Through and through, great album. Introduction of Zakk Wylde as his guitar player, fantastic. There are a lot of albums before that where they've got like 3 or 4 songs that are amazing, but as an album, top to tails, favorite. Yeah. There's an old saying I use, don't mother it. All right, that's interesting. I'm sorry to hear that, Greg. It's rough. It's a thing. I fight to get my breathing normal when I feel anxiety coming on. Well, again, don't fight it. Just do it. Because fighting it will create that anxiety. And also, it's usually indicative that you've been breathing in the top of your chest. That's why social media makes a lot of people anxious when they do it on their phone. Because, and I've showed you this guys before, when you see people standing there on their phone, they're doing like this. You're squashing your diaphragm, you're lowering your chest, and you're breathing in the upper part of your chest, which makes you anxious. Stand up straight, and if you're gonna doom scroll, don't do it sitting down, or go to your computer. If you're going to go through it, you're going to sit there and dick around and do it where you're sitting up properly. It will change how you react to things because you're not choking your oxygen off. And then with anxiety, it becomes a cycle because you're telling your body you have a reason to be anxious. You're not breathing. Walking the fine line between pagan and Christian, right? Can I call myself at the dentist tomorrow if you won't be there while I'm there? Easy there, Paul. Not currently. How can you ease yourself? I don't know, because I've never had a problem at the dentist. I fall asleep because I'm not worried about it. The noises are weird and all that kind of stuff. But ultimately, breathe into the injections. If they give you a shot of Novocaine or something, what you want to do is, as they're doing it, exhale as you feel them doing it, because it will distract some of the nerve endings and stuff in your mouth, and it will let your body know that you're still going to live through it, right? That's always what you have to remind yourself. The other thing is I will often pinch a finger, like distraction pain. Helps a lot. If it's really something gnarly, find a point on you, and I'll put my nail in the flesh just a little bit, right? And that will distract in the moment when it starts, and then let go, and then I always pass out. That's how I've done it my whole life. What do you think of the Dean Withers guy? I don't think much, I guess. The YouTuber guy, I mean, I don't see a lot of his stuff. It's fine. Good for him. Yeah, anybody that's on our side, I'm totally good with, as long as they're not the TYT crowd, because they're grifters and full of shit. 1,300 days left in his current term. Oh yeah, and he's not going to make it. You punch the dentist to distract yourself? How does like Steve Martin's Cruel Shoes, the routine that he reads, because he read it on one of his albums, but the book itself is amazing. I had Cruel Shoes when I was a kid, but I also Cruel Shoes was, let me see if I can do this without feathers. Bring up a copy of the book. It'll be there's a black cover version of it. Okay, yeah. Well, here's the copy I had. Yeah. So, brink. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, here, I'll go this. Let's look at Getting Even, because this was really the one. Okay, and scoot this over. I want to show you something real quick. Cruel Shoes was a great book. I got it when I was a kid. And the original copy I had of it was a black cover without a picture on it. Let's see if I can find the original that I had. Where is it? So, there, a little known thing. There was a period where Steve Martin was following the, where is it? Okay, that's not an image, that's a video of it. Damn it! I'll just show you the cover for a second. Where Steve Martin, they had this kind of generic cover for the book. This is the picture. This is the one people are selling, so like nobody's selling the black cover. But Steve Martin did Cruel Shoes, this book, because Woody Allen did Getting Even and Without Feathers. And they had both come through, if you look at their careers, Steve was right behind Woody Allen in kind of graduating from, Woody Allen was on Your Show of Shows, and Steve was on the Smothers Brothers, and they were both writer-performers. And Steve was really looking at Woody Allen as kind of like the bellwether on like how you build on stuff. And so Woody put out some books, Steve put out some books. Woody did stand-up, Steve did stand-up. They were both kind of in that general zone. But then from that, Woody Allen started doing goofy movies. He started doing, Love and Death and Bananas and those kind of movies. And Steve did The Man with Two Brains and The Jerk and that kind of stuff. And then Woody Allen moved into like Hannah and Her Sisters and the serious stuff. And Steve did Cruel Shoes. I mean, did Pennies from Heaven, and he did Roxanne and those kind of stuff, which were more like serious comedy and that kind of things, and started doing more pathos. He was in Grand Canyon, those kind of things. And then Woody Allen, they did that documentary about him playing Wild Man Blues, where he's playing the clarinet again and going out on the road. And Steve started playing banjo again without any comedy at that point. And then that dovetailed into other stuff. There's been this thing where Steve has basically been chasing Woody Allen's career in his own way for a very long time. And there's nothing wrong with it, because I like what Steve did with it better. The man with two left feet? No, the man with two brains. The Jerk is amazing. But when I was a kid, I had Getting Even, Without Feathers, and Cruel Shoes, and these are three of my favorite books. Never seen a Woody Allen movie? There's Annie Hall is the one worth seeing, really. L.A. Story, you could argue, is Steve's Annie Hall. Yeah. And never did care for Woody Allen movies. There's definite artistic value in them. They get a bit rudimentary. There was one of the things where he tried to evolve too quickly. His big thing was, Woody Allen talks about how he loved the he loved the Marx Brothers, but they never turned into anything. They never evolved. It just burned out. And that was his concern about kind of slapstick in the 70s. So he started trying to evolve past that. And then the French started to like him like they like Jerry Lewis. And he's like, uh-oh, that's proof that I'm stuck. So he became very popular in France the same way Jerry Lewis did for the wacky stuff. And then he was like, I got to start making some art. So Hannah and her sisters, and there was a big, you could tell his more, dramedy kind of movies in the early 80s were about impressing the French audience. And they were shot like the French. There's one of the biggest ones is, I think it was in, was it Manhattan? Let's see. Shooting in Woody. See if I can, So, Stardust Memories. So in Stardust Memories, in the movie, there is a he uses a bunch of murals in the film to kind of plate out where they are. So in one part of the relationship, he's in his house, and on the wall in his apartment is this giant mural of Groucho Marx in this flirty moment, right? And then his ex, who is insane and does all this stuff, she has a big mural of a woman in an insane asylum. But then later on in the relationship, the shot from Vietnam of the guy being assassinated is a mural on the wall. It shifts. They don't mention it. It's the same wall as this. Later on in the movie, he's replaced this entire mural with that scene, replaced that entire wall with the mural from Groucho Marx to the killing of this guy. There's a legit photo from the Vietnam War, right? Like, that's super fucking French. Like, that is the imaging and all this, like the shaping of it, Italian cinema, like him looping like back on himself, and in Stardust Memories, like his shadow, all this kind of stuff. All of it's very French and Italian. So, I love the banjo, as do I. Not deep enough for that. It isn't deep. It's shockingly on the nose. That was the part about like French and Italian cinema, is that it's seen as this kind of subtlety, but it isn't. It's a fucking rubber mallet. I thought it was just Arte with them projecting different scenes on the wall. It wasn't just paint. It wasn't a post effect. They did this whole thing. That's a mural. It's materially done in it. Yeah. It's for Italian. Also, Love and Death is very funny. Sleeper is probably my favorite, and you can't find it anywhere. Take the funny money and run. Yeah, so that was the initial part of like him coming off that, being a comedy writer, doing silly movies, right? And Steve Martin followed that. That's what he was like, I want to do that too. And they formed, allegedly, he and George Geip and Steve Martin, George Geip, and Carl Reiner formed the Aspen Film Society because they were all wanted to make money so they could buy houses in Aspen, which I found brilliant. If that is indeed true, it might be apocryphal, but that's the story I had always heard inside the industry, that they did that. You know, we'll do these things, we'll make a few movies, we'll make the money, and then what we'll do with the money is we're all going to buy houses in Aspen. You watch Sleeper way too young? Yeah. So I have, yeah, ever seen All of Me? Of course. Yeah, yeah. Never liked Woody, loved Steve. I mean, I liked all of them when I was a kid. My aunt, okay, so my mom and my Aunt Susan used to take me to the movies when I was a kid, and I would see stuff that I was too young for, but I would listen to what they laughed at, and I would go, okay, I don't know why that's funny, but it's definitely funny. I trust their sense of humor. And so it would make me want to find out why it was funny. You know what I mean? Did that with all the Python films when they came out. I was far too young in most cases to get all of it, certainly the historical references. So I would ask. Yeah. Ronan is Sinatra's son. Yeah, probably. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, look at him. How'd you first meet Stephanie Miller? I called into her show to promote a stand-up show, and everybody was talking about the ACA at that time, and I'd never met, well, that wasn't the first time I met her, but that was the first time she was aware that she met me. The first time I met her was she had a TV show that they were doing a pilot for, and they were looking for musical accompaniment. And I came in to be her musical director, and I brought in my guitar and my keyboard, and I had created all these like MIDI tracks that I could play along with so I could kind of one-man band it, because they didn't have enough people for a band, so they almost wanted somebody that could digitally DJ some stuff while playing guitar. And this is 1991. I was like 20, 21 years old. And I came in to do this, and they did it in this shit-ass warehouse where the auditions were going on. And I set up all my stuff, and the power like went out in the building and fried my keyboard. Cost that auditioning for Stephanie Miller's show cost me $3,000 that I did not have. And they didn't have insurance, and I didn't sue or get my shit replaced. Steph still owes me a keyboard. That's true. Yeah, 1990. Did you get to work with Aisha Tyler? I did, but no, we didn't do, I mean, I've worked around her. We've never worked together because she came on to Talk Soup after I left, and then she did shows when I wasn't available on the Sexy Liberal tour. So we've been kind of like near misses for a very long time. She's very lovely, though. I met her a few times. She's a great person. Dark Helmet would agree. Yeah, $3,000, Aaron. Yeah. It was a Korg. Here, I'll show you. It was the big one too. It was the K1. Yeah, yeah. The funny thing is, it's worth. You could get one for. Where is it? That's not. That's the one. The wooden one. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. Here, hold on. I had saved up for this fucking thing. God damn it. I was like, because it had a synth in it that you could program a lot of tracks in, and I was like, this is how I demoed most of my early recordings. My first songs that I wrote was on this thing, because it had you could do a rhythm track in it, you could do stereo drums in it, it had a drum synth in it, and you could do a couple of different lines, mainly bass, piano, and strings. And so it had enough of a MIDI sequencer in it before you could do it on a computer that it would, I could write a song in it and then play guitar and sing. I could track this to 2 tracks on my Fostex and then do a guitar track and then, a live bass track, and then I could bounce it down to 2 tracks and then bounce it back, and then I could sing 2 lines of vocals over top of it, right? And this thing got fried. Yeah. It's very sad. And yeah, I never was able to afford to replace it. I just ate it. Sucked. That was one of those, like, one of the many, like, kneecap moments in the 90s when I was like, okay, this is going to be a fucking great job. I'm going to be a musical director. I'll be funny. She can, I'll interact and be like the Paul Schaefer of this thing, and I can joke and do music at the same time, and then like, and like all my, that's like all my songwriting, everything just out the fucking window. Yeah. Imogene Cogency. Yeah, they're on. You could find them on eBay, but there was no eBay back then, obviously. And if I don't need one now. I can, you can do everything inside a computer. But for years, I was fucked. It took me. I was able to replace it with. I got it. I upgraded my computer at one point, and I was able to get an audio card for my my Mac 2 CI, and that would do 4 tracks of audio, but only 2 at a time. And so I could do synth like MIDI stuff inside it, and then I just got a controller, and I used that. But I was never a real piano player, so I was always, I would just tap drum stuff out on the keyboard. I got to take a break. I'm on a. I like comedy. Tucker Dale versus Evil. Hoot. Alan Tudyk, because Alan's great. I'm wearing the this is some bullshit shirt today. He had a Korg Poly 800 MK2. I've got I have the little like old Korg analog that you can wire together. It's at my rehearsal studio. The next time I'm there, I'll show you guys. It still works. It's got 2 bum. It's a MS-20. Hold on, where is it? I'm gonna look one up so I can show you. Yeah, here it is. I've had one of these for a while. It's this guy. I found it at a like a garage sale. Some dude was like, I don't know how this thing even fucking works. And I was like, do you have any guitar cables? Because he was selling something else. And so I stuck the cables into these, because this is where you patch it together to create the sounds. And I was like, it went woo, and I was like, all right, it works. So I'm like, I'll take it. This this, like the second key right here, this one right here is up. It's busted, so it's like stuck in an up position, and I haven't unscrewed the bottom of it and replaced it yet. I probably could, but yeah, this thing's pretty great. You just you literally analog wire the things together using patch cables and create sounds, from it. But it's meant to be hand played. It's got an oscillator in it, so you can kind of do like poor man's patterns in it, but mainly it's just to create, it's all computer. And I think this is like the new version of it. This is the like their retro version of it, as opposed to the original that I have, which is a blazing piece of shit. But it's amazing because it still works, so that's all right. And so sometimes what I'll use it for is to double guitar solos, real simple guitar solos that you can hand play the actual notes of what the solo were, because it gives it this really weird kind of fullness to the sound if you can match it tonally, note for note. And then you can also recreate what are like bass lines with it. And whatever you're playing on the bass guitar, you can thump out synth, and it'll create kind of a depth to the sound you wouldn't get otherwise. Love your show, Hal, but I can't stop thinking about the Jerry Todd show. And are you doing that on purpose? I don't think so. I don't know that I'm doing it on purpose, but I look, I'm here to, I don't know. Is it because of all the shit I'm playing with? You're talking about Rick Moranis, right? From SCTV. Moog had a limited edition Teddy Lee mini Moog. Yeah, the Moogs are amazing. Drop the beat. I will. Don't make me. Remember for 25 months. Oh, thank you, Lori. All right, did I get to the... I am. Oh, man, I'm way over. As an AMA, not too bad. Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I can... SCTV. Yeah, let's see if I can show everybody what you were talking about. I can't play the thing because I'll end up. Where is it? There you go. There you go. The Jerry Todd Show. This is from SCTV.
Did you play Stairway to Heaven too, Jerry?
Okay, we'll try and get that for you. Thank you for calling. Request lines are open anytime.
Yeah. I need a background set like that with just the Jerry Todd setup, and then I'll put a fake, like all my wires and stuff. I'll just lower the camera so you can see my keyboard. I also set up a thing, and I'll do this before I sign off. I've been working on something also, and I don't want to. Yeah, here we go. Continue, and it should. Let's see if we open this up. Okay, where would this be? All right, there we go. And now I have to route the audio so that I can hear it. So first of all, to me, we'll add this. Okay, excellent. 1 second. And then I'll route it to you guys, which will be this one, I think. And then, there we go. That's an electric piano. Where's a Steinway? Let's open this. That's the MIDI is going through the Farrago right now, so where I have the music stuff. So I have to switch this over. That's hilarious. The I have to close that down or it won't be able to do it. Hold on. I'll just turn on the master volume on this. Mm-hmm. I have a keyboard sitting on the counter here that I use to write with, and so I can only actually play anything that actually where I can play with real rhythm and that kind of stuff if I'm using direct headphones, because there's a delay between the keyboard and this, so it's like I hit and then it takes a split second before I hear it, and it's very funny. But it does not mean that I can't at least fake it in terms of, let's see, add a patch list, and we'll try this, and we'll do what's in here, and we'll go to user patches, instrument, go to instrument, drum kit, Brooklyn. And this guy. Where'd you go? It's a delay on it, so it's very strange. Anyways, there you go. I can at least... ladies and gentlemen, thank you. And then, the problem is if I go to this...
Did you get out of yourself? Did you get out of yourself?
If I go in here...
Wait a minute, you don't tell us why you're here. I cut off a finger.
To pee with.
Mine or yours? Yours.
Damn. All right. So I'm working this through so it does music and or that, and right now it will only do both at the same time. So I'm trying to fix that part of it. It's fairly hilarious. But with this, Now I feel like I'm doing a soundtrack for a Michael Crichton movie from 1984.
This is my sister. You can all have her. I hear she's very good. All right. Stop right there, and I'll bring back the sun. Did you hear that? Yeah. It's a dicker. What's a dicker? To pee with.
How, in the name of Zeus's butthole, did you get out of your cell?
The overlap is the part that I find very funny. Anyways, I will let you guys go. Otherwise, I will be here playing with myself all night. Or maybe I will anyways. Who can say? All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. And thank you guys for your support and being here. I hope you had a good time. I know I did. So there you go. On Saturday's show, during show out, Crooks and Liars, want to be on the July 12th. Natalie Z wants to be on, and Richard Chu. That's going to be amazing. I'm very excited. Thank you. For the 12th in Chicago. And then Hody Bash that night. Very exciting. Love you guys. All right. Have a great night.